les presentaremos un corto de una cadena estadounidense de noticias en Baltimore, hablándonos de lo que pasaba en la época. Al mirarlo, se darán cuenta que es como una especie de copia carbón del 2020-2021, donde obviamente el internet no estaba en escena y fue más fácil manipular a las masas.
At Concord Bridge, the shot was fired which Emerson immortalized as the shot heard round the world. It was the first shot of the American Revolution, and for years after, revolutionary ideas spread around the world. Today, we're facing a situation in which the health of the nations of the world may be endangered by the swine influenza. But in this country, we have a vaccine that can effectively meet this threat. Swine flu vaccine is really the shot needed around the world. Hello, I'm Dr. Worthington. Within a very few weeks, the Baltimore City Health Department hopes to be offering to the citizens of Baltimore protection against what could be a very devastating influenza outbreak. Here to talk to us about Baltimore's plans for the immunization vaccination campaign is Dr. John Beatty Huff, who is Commissioner of Health of Baltimore City. And we're happy to have you on our program today, Doctor, to explain for us the importance of the so-called swine flu and the vaccine that we've heard so much about. Now, what about swine flu? How important is it?
It's very important that we get protected against the swine flu, because if the swine flu attacks people, as it has in New Jersey earlier this year, it's a very serious and devastating disease. It's one which was around here years ago, we believe, back in 1918, caused the death of millions of people around the world, and it's a very important disease to be protected against. In fact, the vaccine is the only protection we have.
Mm-hmm. How about the germ itself? Could you tell us a little about its characteristics? I believe we have a picture here which will show people what the germ looks like.
Well, the virus is in the cells. There are several varieties of the flu virus. Some have come out recently, the Victoria strain of the flu virus, and this is named Victoria because it was picked up in the Victoria lab in Australia. Virus gets into the cell, splits the cell, causes all sorts of troubles which are usually pulmonary in nature, that is, they involve the lungs, and the virus, although it is a known virus and has been known since 1931. It has changes about every 6 or 8 years, sometimes as long as 10 years, and when these changes come, the vaccine, the virus rather, that we get is a particularly troublesome one. We had the Hong Kong flu and the Asian flu, and we're now worried about the swine or New Jersey flu.
We know that there is a vaccine available now. It's in preparation. How effective would you say this vaccine is?
This vaccine is said to be somewhere around 80 to 90% effective. It's far more effective than the original vaccine, which came out in the late 50s. It's a very mild vaccine as far as its effects on people are concerned. It's the only protection. I think that's the important thing to stress, namely that the vaccine is the only protection we have against that specific virus, the swine or New Jersey strain, and one which we worry about because it's possible that it will be here with us this next flu season.
Well, I've been asked this question, and I'm sure you have too. Are there any reactions to this vaccine?
Very, very low rate of reactions. 1 or 2% of the people, that's 1 or 2 out of 100, will have a sore arm, and of that group, a very small proportion will have a low-grade fever of 101 or so, possibly 12 to 24 hours. This has been not discommoding, as people have been able to go to work except with a higher fever. I want to stress that it's the only protection against swine flu that we can rely on.
And certainly any reaction that you would have to it, in most instances, would be much more mild than it would be if you got the flu itself.
Oh, the flu can be fatal, and very quickly. The flu involves the lungs. It involves the lungs with a sticky, mucilaginous, hemorrhagic, bloody fluid, and it's one that you want to protect. The vaccine will be explained to people before they get it. We will have you might say, a show and tell when we tell people about the vaccine and about the reactions, and everyone will be taught about the vaccine at the time of the injection.
Well, who should receive this vaccine now?
Everyone over 65 should receive the vaccine that has 2 virus protective agents in it, one against the Victoria and one against the swine flu. People over 65 or those people under 65 who have other and chronic troubles like diabetes, pulmonary disease, cardiac disease.
These are the ones that we speak of as being at risk, correct?
Yes, these are people at risk, and it would include some of the children too. We're worried about this because the children don't really react very very well, and we'll know about that around the 1st of September, perhaps the 15th, as to how they respond. They don't get sick from it, but they just don't develop an immunity.
Is there any possibility that perhaps those under 18 will ever be vaccinated against it?
Yes, it is. There's a study groups all over the country who are studying this to find the dosage and the dosage, whether it has to be 2 doses or 3 rather than 1 for people under 18.
No mirar atrás en el tiempo ha sido una de las maneras de cómo nos han programado y adoctrinado, para que todo se vea como sorpresa e incertidumbre. Una vida lineal con un supuesto inicio remoto, con un presente abrumador y un final fatal. Pero nunca nos hablarán de cómo lo hacían las civilizaciones antiguas, que esta vida, este mundo, es de ciclos, donde los eventos llegan al mismo punto cuando se cumple un ciclo. Quizá esta sea la razón por la que los medios desinformativos logran el objetivo de forzar una narrativa que sobrepasa el intelecto y no nos permite pensar críticamente con el pasado en perspectiva. Pero bueno, aquí dejaremos el video. Por ahora sería todo y nos vemos en la próxima. Si te gustó el contenido del canal, no olvides suscribirte, darle campanita para notificaciones, darle me gusta, comentar o compartir. Hasta la próxima.